So, I was today years old when I realized that the NFL actually uses a separate ball for kicking. Did you know that?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I did not know that. I just learned what a K ball was today.
Wow. It's gonna be like the today years old when you find out there's a first down chain.
Okay, all right, calm down. But yeah, we got a special episode today, so let's jump into it.
Welcome to the greatest podcast on earth. Nothing agreed. We have a great show for you tonight, so stay tuned and buckle up.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of Nothing Agreed. Back with the boys today. Baron,
Hmm.
you introduced before we went into our intro. We got a little bit of a special episode today, not some of our usual scheduling when we're recording this one.
Mhm.
So we're gonna be talking a little bit some stuff that we usually don't talk about, at least on a normal episode of the podcast.
Well, we are a sports podcast, but it feels like we always talk about the same two things. So today, and hopefully more in the future, we're going to bring you guys some more content, but we're going to talk about other stuff besides the NFL and the NBA. There'll still probably be some NFL, NBA related discussion on what goes on in these episodes just because we can't help it. And it's a very popular sport, but it's going to try and be sort of different conversations instead of like what we talk about on our main episodes, like, oh, this team's going up against this team. What do we like? It's going to be more like, oh, what is what does X, Y, and Z have for the future of the NFL? Stuff like that. So today, we thought be a good way to start it off. MLB playoffs just started, so might as well start with that, right, Brooks? Fans of the
Yeah,
show. Oh, sorry.
yeah, I'm a super big MLB fan, as you
Yeah.
may know. Some people may not know, but baseball to me is when everybody comes to summer and baseball's a dry period. I love baseball, particularly. This could be a hot take, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think going to any sporting event, I love baseball the most. I genuinely do. It's one of those sports to where if you're really into it, you can be really into it. If you're really laid back, you can be really laid back, except for the playoffs. I don't think you should go to a playoff game and sit there and be quiet.
Right.
But like, it's just America's pastimes where I can bring a friend. I can bring a couple friends. You could chat. Baron, you may not understand this, but I could bring a girl, right? And we could talk
Okay.
at the baseball game.
All right, pal. That's rich coming from you. Anyway, yeah,
What?
baseball's great. I'm trying to get more into it, as fans of the show may know. But
Uh,
I kind of probably prefer college baseball over professional. But yeah, no, baseball is great, and I love watching it. I love going to baseball games. I just can't really bring myself to get as invested into it as say the NFL. But hopefully, it overtakes the NBA because we got that franchise is terrible. That whole product is just terrible. But let's break it down. The way these MLB discussions usually work, though, is Brooks usually leads them, and I nod along like a learning school kid. So I'm going to play a part of the viewer for now, and hopefully I can learn something from Brooks's infinite baseball wisdom. So I'll let you take it away.
Baron, let me say this. Ready? Are you a busy man today when we're recording this?
Today I kind of am, yeah.
Busy day today. Cool. Well, guess what? If you have any opening in your day, you got a 1 o'clock game, you got a 3 o'clock game, you got a 6 o'clock game, you got a 9 o'clock game. You got all these games stacked up watching baseball the entire day. Like me personally, I was in class and I'm watching game one of the Tigers and Guardians going at it, right? And then I finished that and boom, it's already the third inning of the Cubs game. So I had that multi screened. And then you got the other two. So
Don't worry.
it
I do have
was
class later today, so don't worry. There'll
it,
probably
it
be some watching in my time.
I
I
think
can
that
watch
would
baseball. I can watch a baseball game and say, yeah, I know what's going on. It's just I couldn't tell you who leads the league in home runs or strikeouts or all that statistics. I just don't really follow the league. That's my problem.
yeah.
I
Um,
feel like for a casual level, I understand the sport and how it works.
well, I don't want to be the like ESPN, but Shohei Otani plays baseball
Mm-hmm.
and he is unbelievable. He is
Yeah.
oh I mean, I would say in terms of all athletes right now, in terms of a sport, he might be the best when it comes to like in terms of the best at each sport. Not saying he's like the best at football, but in terms of if you had to pick the best for football, the best for basketball, and the best for baseball, who stands alone, and Otani just stands alone compared to everyone. So it's insane. It's utterly worldly that he performs like this. But we saw exactly what I thought was going to happen. AL Central matchup between the Guardians and Tigers. Baron, I think the way I can put this is the AL Central, which is the American League and then, Central America kind of.
Let me pull up the
with
standings. I was
Detroit
looking at them
Tigers,
yesterday.
Detroit Tigers and Guardians play. If I had to compare this series, it's kind of like if it was an AFC North matchup between the Ravens. No, the
Okay.
Ravens wouldn't be a good example. About 5 years ago or 10 years ago, it'd be an AFC North matchup between the Ravens with Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and the Steelers with Troy Polamalu. Like two great defenses, right? Those games are going to be low scoring. The pitchers are amazing.
Okay.
The Cubs and the Padres play in the NL. That's
Uh-huh.
more of like Cubs are a historic team, but they haven't won a lot. Padres are an exciting kind of younger side, in my opinion, even though they've been around for a while. They just give off the vibes of like if you don't have a team to root for, you root for the Padres.
Okay.
If you don't root for a team. But yeah, that was a good game as well. The Yankees-Red Sox game. Bases loaded, no outs. Aroldis Chapman comes up, who has an ERA. I don't know if you know how to measure ERA, but he has ERA lower than 1. So for every 9 innings he pitches, he basically doesn't give up a run, or he gives up an average of almost 1 run, which is insane.
ERA?
Yeah, earned run average.
Okay, yeah.
And
that was right.
basically
Okay.
just measures, if you were to put it on a 9-inning scale, how many runs do you give up? So he gives up 0.96, which is like elite. And if you were a reliever who throws around a 150 to 250, that's good. He throws under 1. Like, it's insane. That was a great game. And then Dodgers game, they hit 5 home runs. Otani hit 2.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So
they're getting hot.
I love watching baseball. If there's any team you don't want to get hot, it's the Dodgers because they spend so much money. They have so much talent. If that talent gets rolling, there's not a better team in the league, even though they were one of the worst playoff teams, but they're the worst NL division winner. So
yeah, well, I really hope they don't stay hot because that means my team's going to be out of it soon. But we can't talk about that. That's one of the things I've picked up in the last few years watching baseball. It seems that, and there's been sort of an argument in the last few years, is for these teams that are on bye in the MLB playoffs now. I don't know their like combined record in the second round, but I know it's not good. It's actually really bad. They usually lose that series. So is there a lot to be said about how hot or how much extra games a team gets to go into the playoffs? Like, I remember back in 2020 when the Phillies went to the World Series, they did not get the bye. They were a wild card round or whatever you call that.
Wild card, yep.
Yeah, wild card round, and they got hot and they upset the team in the next round. They were supposed to beat, and everyone was crediting it to, well, yeah, they were hot. The other team wasn't. They had that bye. They didn't look as good going into the playoffs as they did ending the season. So, how much rest and how much does being hot affect baseball?
It honestly is a major factor. I'm not going to say it's the reason teams win or lose series, but it's a major factor. I'll give you examples. 2021, right? 2020, the Dodgers won the World Series, but that was a COVID year, so that's kind of hard one to throw. 2021, the Atlanta Braves were the worst team to make the playoffs. I mean, the worst in terms of record. They won their division because everyone in the division, the Phillies, the Nationals, the Mets, the Marlins, were all bad. So they won their division with like winning 84 games, 83 because the Reds are now. And they were the hottest team in baseball. They were the hottest team in baseball when they went into it. They won their wild card. They won the NLDS. They won the NLCS. Funny enough, Baron, all the playoff series are named the same as the NFL. Wild card, division series, and then World Series, not a Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Yeah. Won the NLDS, won the NLCS, won that. The Phillies, right? They made the World Series. They didn't win the World Series, but they made the World Series that year off
They
that
made
big wild card run. That big wild card run.
And who was it?
2023.
That was the Twins, right? Or
That was
the Diamondbacks.
that was the Astros won it in 2022.
Oh, I'm thinking of the NL side. Sorry.
Yeah, that was y'all's year when y'all went to the World Series. The next
Oh,
year, y'all won the
2023.
championship. Yes,
That's
that
what
was the
I'm thinking of.
Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
That was good. Good night. But they played the Rangers. Both teams, wildcard teams, got hot, and the Rangers won. 2024 was the first kind of year where it's like, I don't want to say an anomaly, but both teams that went to the World Series were good and had a bye. The Dodgers won the World Series. The Yankees went to it. They were both teams that had a bye. So it's interesting to see because in this year, let's say a team that gets hot, right? The Yankees were a really hot team going into the playoffs. The Guardians are a really hot team going to the playoffs. Those two teams lost game one. And I don't think I got a text message. I need to double check it. But I mean, I have it actually up right now. It says all teams thus far who have won game one proceeded to move past the wild card round. So will it happen this year? We'll have to see. But when we get to the NLDS and the ALDS, when we get to the World Series, is it going to be those 1 and 2 seed teams, or is it going to be those teams that got hot in this round? So it'll be interesting to see.
We'll just wait and see. But yeah, I would argue it definitely plays a factor, like you said, probably more than any other sport, at least that I've seen. But yeah, we'll wait and see how this one pans out. I got one last topic on the MLB before we move on for today, but it was recent. I don't remember how recent, but the MLB Players Association, they met and the owners met all under the discussion for a salary cap. And it ended in just about the way you expect. The players rejected it. Of course, players don't want a salary cap. And to me, it feels like we're at a day across sports in general, not just the MLB, but at an age of player empowerment. You have players associations and all these leagues, and they have more power than they ever did. But it just to me, it just seems like the MLB at this point never will have a salary cap. And I was talking about it with you, I believe, and you mentioned the cap ceiling that they were talking about. So I'll hand the floor back over to you, get your thoughts, insights, as I guess Nothing Agrees MLB insider.
I'm so honored to have this title. Yeah, MLB is one of the most political sports when it comes to this kind of stuff. Not in terms of actual politics, but just the knowledge behind it and how much, that's going on behind the scenes. I said personally they should have a salary floor because it then encourages teams to hit the salary floor, and people that are in AAA, AA will make more money from it. And that's what the players are fighting for. Give us a salary floor because the Player Association, you're going to think it's only the top MLB guys, but you got to think how many players are in the MLB system. Mm-hmm. So you got to think of first, lower than single A. There's the development league, single A, double A, triple A, majors. There's more rosters than you can think of. You have a 40-man roster just for your MLB team, but you have about 150 people in your organization, 140, and they all need to get paid a livable wage because those guys that are stuck in double A, they don't get paid a livable wage just off that. So they do. Some of them will work at a grocery store. Some of them will do classes on the side where they teach young kids how to play baseball. And of course, I think some of that is just how the game goes, just because nobody's paying top dollar to do it. But yeah, that's why I think you need a salary floor. And Baron, we are looking at an MLB lockout. And if I'm not mistaken, 2011 was the last time the NBA had a lockout. I don't remember the last NFL lockout.
That was a
long time ago. I don't remember the NHL lockout either. Maybe I can ask Google.
We were on the verge of one 2 or 3 years ago, though. I do remember that.
The last NHL lockout was in 2012 and 2013. The last NBA lockout or NFL lockout was in 2011, to where that wasn't even during the season. That was during the off season. 136-day work stoppage from the March 12th to 25th of July.
Okay.
So
I didn't even know about that one. Because it didn't take place during the season.
Yeah, we were pretty young. So, Baron, do you know when the last MLB lockout was?
3 years ago.
they have had a lot of lockouts. The last one was in 2021 and 2022 season. That was a lockout. And
4 years ago.
personally, people go back and forth on this as well.
Mm-hmm.
If 2020 was a lockout year, it was not, in my opinion. They tried to figure out how many games, but they lost games because of COVID, and that lost a lot of revenue. 2021 was a lockout year, and now this upcoming season, 2026, we're looking at a lockout. So this is the most politically crazy sport there is. But yeah, other than that, wild card going on. Enjoy it while you can. It's probably that and the DS, probably the most exciting series because you get eight teams of 4 games. You get 4 games of baseball. That's what I was trying to say, and it's fun. It's fun. So,
All right. Well,
yeah.
I'll catch one. I'm gonna watch the Phillies play, win or lose, but hopefully they can get hot. We'll see.
If you watch the Phillies play, make sure you text me because I will be texting you back. So.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see what
If they're playing
happens.
the Dodgers,
Oh,
I'll be
boy.
rooting for you. If they're not, I'll be
That might
rooting
be a
against you.
first. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Brooke said he'd be rooting for me. That might be a first. But let's swing it on over. We got to talk about another American popular pastime, college football, right? I feel like viewers of the show know how I feel about this current state of college football and where it's headed. I don't know if you've been very vocal about your opinions and stances on it, but we can put that aside for now. We'll certainly get into the politics of it at some point, but right now,
could get into this episode. We could. We'll see what the session goes.
Exactly. But for now, let's just talk about what it is, right? Who's winning, who's losing, who's shining, who's falling, who we think is going to be good by the end of the season, and who we think is going to need to hit the transfer portal. Brooks, we kind of mentioned it last episode, but this past weekend was the first time you've declared yourself a UGA Bulldog.
It is.
And while it may not have rewarded you in that first game, I would say the state of Georgia is probably pretty happy about the state of their college football teams this year.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Georgia Tech is a really good football team. If you're a Georgia fan, you're probably not happy you lost to Bama, but you got the boogeyman team out of the way. Kirby cannot beat Bama, and that's a fact.
As I was saying, hosting Kentucky this Saturday, so that should be a win.
And that's one of those games where it should be a win. And quite frankly, any team that comes into Georgia, we'll see how Texas does the rest of the year, but any team that comes into Georgia, Ole Miss as well, Georgia should technically be the betting favorite. But yeah, it is, to me, just quite frankly, a really good year for Georgia sports. I would say I was rooting for Georgia against Tennessee, but the first time I went full out Georgia was that Bama game. So, yeah.
That was a great game over in Tennessee for the Bulldogs. I personally thought they were going to lose that game. So, that was the game where I was like, all right, Georgia's going to be fine this season. They got it. But I think overall the SEC is just having a great season so far. Outside of Texas, I know that was probably something that a lot of people predicted. I know viewers know I was very high on them. They were my national championship preseason favorites. But Arch Manning just quite hasn't looked like that guy. All I've gotten out of these first 4 games is that he is not going to the draft this year. He's probably coming back for a second year.
I think he will as well. I think he gives off the motion that he will stay. And
but again, like, the kid's young. He had a trial by fire week 1, and I think he'll be fine come next year. So we'll keep our eye on Texas. Ole Miss.
Some breaking MLB news that you may not care about. The Braves manager, Ryan Snitker, just moved from manager to advisory role. So that is a big move. He's been the manager since 2016. As a Braves fan, I think it was time to go. But he's been with that organization. This upcoming when he moves to advisory will be his 50th year in the organization. Wow. His 10th in the majors. He spent 39 years in the minors as a coach. So, yeah, crazy. Thought I'd get that out there. Anyways, back to college.
You're good. We're staying in the SEC. Ole Miss having a great season. Oklahoma having a great season. A&M having a great season. And I think for a lot of people, or probably I would just say casuals, 'cause probably not their fans. College football wizards probably didn't predict them to be this good coming into the season. I mean, I thought these teams would probably be middle of the pack SEC, like hovering in the 20s if they were ranked. But yeah, I did not expect them to be this good. I mean, Ole Miss LSU this past weekend, that was a great game for the most part. But even still, LSU's had a surprisingly good start I would say this year under Brian Kelly. I think most people could say that with Garrett Nussmeier. And yeah, I mean, even the bottom half of the SEC looks pretty strong this year. Missouri looks good. We'll see how South Carolina finishes their season with all their injuries. Of course, I'm never going to say they look good, but yeah. I mean, the SEC just, to me, feels like they're back, right? Fully back. We're always having these discussions. I feel like recently since the, the Pac-12 got demolished, and now we have the Big Ten versus the SEC, which is the best conference, so I don't know. I feel like you could easily say it's the SEC this year, even though 1 and 2 are in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, the SEC is just so strongly balanced now. They added 2 more teams, which are good. I mean, Texas A&M and Oklahoma are right up there. So
I mean, yeah,
those are.
We didn't even talk about Alabama and Tennessee. Those are 2 good teams as well.
Yeah, so. Georgia, Texas, Vandy's undefeated. Bama, Oklahoma, Texas. Those are teams that just play this week. And you go into a game, right? And it's going to sound a little crazy, but I just bear with me here. Texas goes into Florida and plays at the Swamp, right? And just on paper, Texas is going to win that football game. But you can't say that. You can't definitively say Texas is going to win that football game.
No, you can't. Oh yeah, so, I'll family at that game, so hopefully Florida pulls that one out. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That's just kind of how the SEC feels this year. Anyone can kind of beat anyone. But talking about SEC versus the Big Ten, let's jump over to the Big Ten real quick. I mean, they're very top heavy, right? They have 1 and 2. Michigan's kind of hovering in there. Illinois, kind of up there as well. Or not Illinois, Indiana, but Illinois is still also hovering in the top 25. I know they had that big loss, but I feel like kind of bounced back last week. But yeah, I mean USC as well. They had a big win this weekend too. So, I mean, do we feel like the Big Ten by the end of the year is still going to have their name in the hat for best conference, or do you think the SEC is going to really run away with it? I mean, we know Penn State probably be up there too, even though they can't win the big ones.
I think the difference between the SEC and the Big Ten is I think that the Big Ten is better top heavy and the SEC is better well rounded. And here's why I say that. Big Ten, right? Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, sometimes even Michigan. You got a couple names in there like USC, Illinois. You got a couple good teams in there, but I usually think Ohio State isn't a team that's going to grab 2 losses. I don't think a team like Oregon is a team that's going to grab 2 losses. You look at the SEC, you can make the playoffs as a 2 to 3 loss team now in the SEC. In the Big Ten, I don't know if that's really an option. So you have a little more leeway and balance because of how many teams are ranked. But the Big Ten, I think, will have the better overall teams in the rankings by the time it comes. I think Ohio State will probably still be 1 unless they get upset, which they could. And if they do, you easily have a shuttle for Oregon to be number 1. So, yeah, you got the top-heavy teams, but in terms of overall balance, the SEC is better overall balance.
Do you think we're going to see a Big Ten versus SEC national championship?
I don't know. It's if we came back to this discussion in January and I saw the bracket, I could be like, yeah, I'd pick these 2 teams to go. So maybe. But,
I mean, let's think about it, right? Do you think it's going to – because – let's go ahead off college football logic. Is Penn State going to make the national championship under James Franklin? Hasn't proven it yet, so no. So,
well, he made the Final Four last year, and he was a couple points away from it.
Yeah, but who did he play to get there as well?
Fair, but still.
No, you're right. That is absolutely fair. He did make the Final Four, but again, I mean, I feel like we've had this discussion about the college football playoffs, and those games on this podcast before, whether or not those are considered big games. Yes, they're playoff games, but like for Texas, was that a big game against Clemson last year? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I feel like the talent level was, again, we've had that discussion before, so we're not here to relive that discussion. But if it is, let me pull my thing back up. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and say Penn State's probably not gonna go to the national championship. Do you see an Oregon Ohio State
Yeah,
national
I can
championship?
see an Oregon Ohio State.
I could see that as well. But if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I know you are, I would put money on a Big Ten SEC. Because I think you're probably going to see one of those teams. I don't know if you're going to like Oregon and Ohio State will probably most likely play each other on the way. Again, we'll see how the bracket shapes out, but I just don't know if both of those teams are going to go. I feel like there's going to be a Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, some SEC teams probably going to be up there at the end. But who knows?
Well,
We'll wait
just
and
take
see.
it this way. If you are a betting man, there's decent odds you hit that. Just look at the rankings. You have, I'll just say the conference: Big Ten, ACC, SEC, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, SEC. So you have two teams that are not in that conference ranked in the top 12 right now. So yes, it is a little bit of a crapshoot when it comes to who's going to make it and who's not. Now I'm pretty sure. Again, you got to have a Big 12 champion in there, an ACC champion in there, and then you of course have the rest of it. But they don't do that off buys now; they do it just off auto
Right.
bids. So
Exactly.
you could have an ACC team in there. Miami, of course, right now would get the auto bid, but the Big 12 team, which is Texas Tech, if they were to win it right now, they would not get an auto bid,
That's
or
right.
they would get an auto
Well,
bid. They wouldn't get a buy. So
we can
yes.
let's talk about the Big 12. I mean, they're doing fine too. They got 4 teams and ranked right now. Or maybe it's 3, I don't remember, but they're doing great. I feel like this is easily the most I've heard about them in the last few seasons. I feel like this is as a conference, this has been their best season so far, as of
Really?
recent memory, in my
I thought
opinion.
last year was really big for the Big 12, particularly because got a lot of coverage with Colorado being a good team that
Yeah, that's true.
Could have made it. But again, Arizona State was such a fun story last year.
Oh, they were.
It still is a fun story.
Exactly, yeah.
State
I mean,
is always a fun story.
yeah, I look at Texas Tech. They look like that's a fun team to watch. Arizona State, you said Iowa State, even BYU. I mean, all these teams. Houston's they probably won't be ranked, but like they haven't been terrible. So
Mhm.
look at Cincinnati. We'll see what they can do. I mean, these are good football programs. Baylor hasn't been terrible this season. They've been winning the games they needed to win. I mean, Oklahoma State, they've been bad. They fired Mike Gundy, and Colorado's also been pretty bad. But other than like the bottom of that conference, I feel like again this is a conference that they might send maybe 2 or 3 teams. We'll see how many teams for them go to the college football playoffs. But this is a fun conference in this year. I feel like. And
Yes.
if I had to argue your point for this year rather than last year is, I feel like it's better for college. Like again, say what you want about Deion Sanders and what he's done. Him generating all of that coverage and media was mainly based on who he was, not the talent on his team. Were they good? Yeah, but I don't know. They were never really national contenders, even though you would hear news outlets talking about it after weeks 1 and 2 and all that stuff. And yes, they had the Heisman. Yes, they had Shedeur Sanders, all the draft hype, all that, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. I just feel like that team was getting talked about a lot more for who their coach was rather than the skill they had in their locker room, which is why I would just argue this year I think will be a better year for them. But we can move on to probably the biggest surprise out of every division this season, and that's the ACC. I mean, right now you got Georgia Tech winning it. Haynes King's been amazing this year. Right now they have not played any ACC play, so they aren't ranked as of in the ACC. But Miami, yeah, number 3, best ACC team in the country right now. Carson Beck clearly made the right choice. Went to a team where his receivers can catch, and he looks good. What else? At Florida State, they had a terrible season last year, and look at them now. I mean, they just lost a heartbreaker to Virginia, but I mean, you upset Alabama week 1. You were winning up until then. I mean, you still probably have a pretty good chance to go to the college football playoffs with how the rest of this division looks. Even Virginia, I mean, that win got them on the rankings. I mean, they've had a good season, undefeated, 2-0 in the ACC. You look at a team like Louisville. They're kind of young, up and coming. We'll see what they can do, sort of with Duke as well, NC State as well. Both those teams look young. Those quarterbacks look like they're going to be here for a while in the ACC. ACC looks like it's in good hands. We got Bill Belichick in the conference now, for better or worse. At least that's something to talk about. Right now it's been for worse, but who knows? That might turn around. Again, it's only year one, so we'll see what that happens. But the biggest disappointment in the ACC, and probably college football, and yeah, it's going to be biased, but what is going on with those Clemson Tigers, Brooks? I mean, this was the preseason ranked number 3 or 4. I think it was 4.
Yeah.
But top 5. What are we now? 1-3. Dead last of the ACC. When's the last time a Clemson fan could say that to their friends and family?
20 years ago.
Exactly.
So I personally, I'm not saying it's totally Dabo, but I think it's the coaching a little bit. And quite frankly, the names on that team they're good names. You would think they're good names.
See, this is what I would want to say. This is I want to say real quick. I would say in the 4 years I've been at Clemson Tiger, on paper, this is the most talented roster I've ever seen. But on the field, it is the worst. And that shouldn't make sense. But yeah, continue. Sorry.
No, you're good. Remember the season we went 8-4, 9-4 if you want to count the bowl win. We were really bad. We lost NC State away. Yeah, and that team felt really bad. That team felt like Kevin Petula was running the offense, and we still somehow went 8-4. This is horrible. I mean, it's genuinely horrible. Mm-hmm. I would say our knowledge of Clemson runs a little deeper than maybe just a casual fan because we're both actually fans of the team. But the guys who don't get PT or did not play here last year are the ones I swear I love the most. Will Help looks like he's actually dying for the team. He went from Purdue to here, went to win, and he went from Purdue to here, and we're playing worse. Tristan Smith, wide receiver, JUCO product. He went from JUCO to here, and it looks like when he catches a 13-yard ball, it looks like he has more energy than if a Clemson player scored a 99-yard touchdown. I mean, the effort that they give is not good enough, and it has to start with the coaching. And quite frankly, I think I don't know if it's going to stay this bad, but unless there's a major turnaround, I expect to see a lot of people get fired. So
yeah, I do as well.
I don't think the defensive coordinator Tom Allen will get fired just because it's his first year. I think Garrett Riley. I think Garrett Riley will get fired.
He is to get cut. Yeah, absolutely. There's no questions about it. If you want to give your fans any hope for next season, you can't put the same product back on the field that you've seen this year. You can't happen. That's the definition of insanity, definition of stupid, whatever you want to say. I don't know. I would not say Tom Allen's job is safe. Yeah, he's a first-year defensive coordinator, but Penn State had a great defense last year. Clemson had a great defense last year, brought in almost all the same starters, and now it's just pathetic. So, yeah, I argue it's got to be a mix of everything, right? You talked about the players don't play hard. Is the passion even there? I know lots of people have been speculating, talking about, they're getting paid now, so they don't care. They don't have the hunger to get to the next level and get paid. They're already making NFL level money in college, so they know they're not going to get drafted, so this is their stopping point. They don't care anymore. They're not striving to make the leagues because they're already getting paid. That's the whole point on that.
I was going to say that too.
But I mean, that's definitely something. It's a small detail, but that's definitely something to take note of. Absolutely. I mean, I feel like you see, not just at Clemson. I feel like that's happening all over the place. But that's another discussion for another time. The next part is, I think it comes down to quarterback play, which is not good. We've been talking about it for 4 years now. 5-star prospect in Cade Klubnik. He's shown flashes of being a 5-star prospect, but he's never put it all together. And at this point in time, I just don't think it's going to happen. I think we just got to say this didn't work out. He's not who we thought he was and move on. I agree. I don't think it'll happen, but we need to see what Venenza's got or if we need to start recruiting for next season because I feel like the Cade Klubnik experiment's over after these first 4 weeks.
Here's
And
what I
you
want to
you
jump
want to
in
say
real quick
something on that, yeah.
on the K Club experience, and I want to shout out Grayson, man. He came on this podcast before, but I
Hmm.
listened to after Syracuse, the Orange Crush podcast, as a lot of people did who are Clemson fans, and he brought up a really good point, and I totally agree with it. And that's what I was thinking is if Cade Klubnik wasn't getting paid $3.5 million, he'd be benched.
Oh,
He would be
absolutely.
benched.
That's just the
He would
politics of
easily
the
be benched
sport.
when
Yeah.
we think what Vizina is, but it's all about the money now, right? We pay these guys so much money, you can't just bench him. You can't throw that
I'd
much
al-
money on the bench.
I'd also argue it goes to Dabo's sort of philosophy as well, which I'll
Yes.
touch on here in a second.
Yeah, but ultimately, right? I think that's big reason why. Personally,
Mhm.
I still don't agree with it because you're putting $3.5 million on the field on or off it. You can't really change that number.
Yeah.
And if you want to change the number of people buying tickets and how much it's worth and getting some of that money back, you go to win football games. So
I
yeah,
agree with that too. But yeah.
something. Wait. One more quick thing. Baron, as you may know, I was a former student now at UGA. You are a current student. I was on the group me of the Clemson Ticket Exchange,
Ooh,
and
let's take a look.
I see, before Syracuse lower deck, $30.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I have never seen a ticket go that low. Even I've almost never seen tickets go that low when we play like Citadel, when we play
Mhm.
Furman, right?
Hill
It was
ticket.
that
Hill ticket, $30.
for the next game.
Hill ticket, 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is for
Selling Hill
SMU.
45. Selling Hill 30.
Yeah. And I have
SMU's
an
a-
SMU. I have an SMU ticket as well, so I'm probably going to sell that because I have no interest in going. Again, this is my senior year as a Clemson Tiger, and I don't want to go to another home game for the rest of the season.
If
Like I've
if,
have
if I
given
were to
up.
come, would you come and give me?
I mean, I'm not paying for a ticket. I mean, that's been my whole philosophy is after the LSU game, I'm not giving this athletic program any more money. They don't deserve it. They clearly just don't care. Like that's what the impression I get on the field is they made their money. It's over. They don't care anymore. And to my last point, yes, I also think coaching is a part of the problem as well. But my overlying problem is Dabo Swinney and his inability to adapt and his philosophy and his stubbornness on not changing. And I'll give him his credit. He sticks to what he believes in and doesn't want to change. And that's very commendable, wanted to do things his own way. But, I mean, let's be real. This is the current state of college football we're in right now is a big reason why Nick Saban left. He's hosting College Game Day now, talking about what college football should have been. Right? He's never. That's all, every time they're talking, he's like, "Oh, back in my day." That's what it always feels like. So, yes. I don't know. Everyone knows Dabo Swinney doesn't use the transfer portal. I don't agree with that, but I mean, I just don't know how you can look at the state of college football and just be like, I shouldn't use its greatest tool. And I think the best example of it comes from this season. And I forget the kid's name, but Clemson brought in a 5-star running back, true 5-star, or he was going to start true freshman. Or was he a 4-star?
I think 4-star. Gideon Davidson.
Yeah, something like that. I thought he was a
4-star.
5-star. Sorry,
Gideon Davidson. Yeah.
4-star. Brought him in. He was going to be
Full talent.
true freshman, was going to start. Had some off the field issues. I didn't read too much into it. I don't know if it was posted at the time, blah, blah, blah. But he was released from the team. Dabo's decision. Don't have a problem with that. He's got character issues. You don't want to keep him. That's fine. Now, Clemson doesn't have a starting running back. And mind you, this happened early summer, like early June, late May, whenever. And instead of using the transfer portal, going out and finding, again, a running back, which there were tons of in the transfer portal, he just decided, no, I'm going to convert 6'2", however much he weighs, Adam Randall into a running back. And, I mean, I'll give my credit where it's due. Adam Randall, statistically, is not having a terrible season. But my point goes to look who we've played. We've played Troy. We've played, and I'm discounting the LSU game because he did not have a good game in the LSU game. Granted, he only had 5 rushes. He only had 5 rushes. But still, I mean, still, it was like, what, 2 yards, 2.1 yard a carry, something like that. I mean, every time he had one big run, and every other time he was getting hit in the backfield.
The blocking was horrible.
Blocking plays a part into it.
Yeah.
But still, I just feel like Adam Randall is not an elusive, shifty. He's a power back. It's like Derrick Henry in the backfield, which works, but unless you're like a dominant power back, you've got to have some ability to make a man miss, or else they're just going to swarm you all the time. He doesn't have, I would say, elite running back speed coming out of the backfield. It's just he's a receiver. He's a big physical receiver. That's what he came to Clemson to play. And I don't know. I just feel like it's lazy. It's stubbornness, not willing to break your philosophy. Like, just go get a running back in the transfer portal. Why are we doing all of this? And I feel like a big part of the reason Clemson's in the situation they're in now is we don't really have a run game. I think a big reason why we lost against LSU is, yes, we didn't run the ball much. We only handed it off like 5 times. Whether or not that was because of Adam Randall, the offensive line, whatever, we just didn't have a run game, and they just sat in pass defense the entire football game, and therefore we couldn't pass the ball after the second half. So I just think it's little minute details like that, and just when it all comes together, this is the product we get. So yeah, and obviously Clemson University was not going to fire Dabo Swinney. But the question I asked them is, how many seasons like this go on before they do? Because, again, I mean, they say it in the NFL all the time, Brooks. It's not about what you've done for me. It's what are you doing for me right now?
Yeah. You give him a couple, like 2 more years max.
Oh, yeah,
because you know what he can do for you. But if he doesn't adapt ultimately,
well, that's just kind of the
question. Here's a question I wanted to pose you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to say that. Let's say Dabo somehow leaves the job. Mm-hmm. Is there any name, which I have a name, is there any name which you're like, that's the next guy I want to go get?
For Clemson?
Yeah.
Maybe
we haven't thought about it too much.
I do not. But, I mean, granted, everyone's saying, like, yeah, Dabo's got to go right now. I don't think anyone really can. I mean, this is kind of like a Nick Saban DeBoer thing. Is he whoever they hire? Is he really going to be that as good as the last guy? Like, I genuinely don't know anyone in my mind who I would think could follow that up. So, I don't know. Who do you have in mind?
Now here's my thinking, right? And I'm not trying to sound like Unc when I say this. Mm-hmm. But here's just my thinking. College football now and kids nowadays, very energetic, right? Mm-hmm. In terms of a word used in the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, just swag, right? Mm-hmm. You have a lot of ego, personality, a lot of emotion on the field. Get a coach that has that and has adapted to the game. Mm-hmm. And I think this is very funny, but get the coach that just beat you. Fran Brown is such a good name for Clemson. Oh, yeah. If they were to ever. He has adapted the system. Players love him. The media loves him, right? He is the players' coach, and he has adapted. And he's landed transfers. He just landed a 5-star wide receiver at Syracuse, too. So he's doing it with less. If you can get a guy that can do that, put him on the team, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's just, to me, right, as a fan, and again, this is probably also important context. I did not grow up a Clemson fan. I became a Clemson fan like once I applied here, basically, like the year before I came here. So back when Dabo Swinney was winning national championships, I was not really there. And granted, I mean, let's just take a step back, right? In the pre-portal and NIL era, when was that? Like 2020? Was that when that was all introduced?
Yeah, basically. I mean, it was still a thing, but it started blowing up after COVID.
I mean, no, up until that point, from when he was hired by Clemson back in whenever it was, 2005, 2004, Dabo Swinney was one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in college football. He won 2 national championships, went to 4, made the playoffs almost every year. What was it? 9 out of 10 ACC championships, all those accolades.
I wouldn't say during that time he was the best college coach.
Well, I said one of.
One of. Yeah, one of.
I said you could argue. Yeah, obviously Saban, but you could argue.
Yeah.
But let's look at Dabo Swinney's resume since the new era of college football. 1 playoff performance, as you barely snuck in, which was gifted to you after, again, Syracuse upset whoever. I don't even remember who they beat, but Miami. They upset them just so we could sneak in.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, granted, we have, 2 ACC championships or 3 ACC championships since that time as well. But, I mean, you could also argue the ACC really has not been strong since that era. It's really only starting to get strong now. We saw Miami last year, and they probably should have competed for an ACC championship last year. They also would have beat the brakes off of SMU. So whether you want to put an asterisk over last year or not, that's fine. That's whatever. But look at Florida State when they had that one great run. They went 13-0, whatever it was, missed the playoffs. But, I mean, they were easily the best team in the ACC that year. Even still, the year we played, who was it when Cade came in? It was North Carolina, right? When they had Drake May, all that. Like, that was a good-looking team. So, I mean, even look at it now. The ACC is a competitive conference. Miami, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Virginia, they're all ranked. You look at teams, like we said earlier, Duke, NC State. These are teams that are on the rise. Who else is in there? Like we said, Syracuse, teams like that as well. And you look at Clemson, again, oldest or most of the teams junior and senior. So a lot of these players are going to leave. We'll see who comes back. We'll see who enters the transfer portal. Because, again, after a season like this, I mean, I think a lot of sophomores, I mean, that's another thing that Dabo's got to worry about is you got to retain players from this season. Because all those freshmen and now sophomores that you recruited said, come play for Clemson, we're the best in the ACC. They're going to look at that and be like, no, you're not. So we're going to either go to the best in the ACC or go to an actual conference like the SEC where I'm going to get national NFL coverage as being a middle to bottom level team, whereas opposed to a middle to the bottom level ACC team where no one talks about. So, yeah, I mean, there's all this politics going to play, and I just feel like Dabo Swinney and his stubbornness just not been handling it right. So that's my 2 cents on the whole Clemson situation.
Let's move forward.
Yes,
and move
please.
on.
Get me angry.
And wrap it up here soon.
Yes. We have a little bit of time left.
We got a couple minutes left. You know what? Let's throw it out there. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is going to win the national championship this year in college football? Let's wrap it up like that.
Yeah. Well, I did want to have one more point about the state of
Go
college
ahead.
football. Okay. Well, just basically, and you can tell me if I'm overreacting or if I'm just being a realist, but I don't know. I feel like without regulations, and granted, they implemented a salary cap, right, in college football, or they're implementing one. Yeah, but I don't know. I just feel like without regulations, without transfer restrictions, like all this stuff, again, it feels like the Wild West. That's the word it's turned into, or I feel like. But to me, I just feel like college football is turning into like the NFL G League almost. I feel like you see these players that come out for college teams, they perform really well, play against the best of the best, and then they move up to the next level, and then it starts to, I don't know, I don't want to say like coverage wise in terms of like money, because obviously they're getting just as much money and getting just as much coverage at that level. But I just feel like what college football has turned into, instead of a place for players to showcase their skills and study and also train, play very hard, go play for the best coach, go play for the best team, and compete against everyone else in your position at that sport to go to the next level. I just feel like it's, get to the college level, make a cool couple million off NIL, invest that. That's all I need to be set, so I don't have to care as much about the sport. That's another point we brought up earlier. But I don't know. It just feels like, to me, college football is becoming more and more about the money and the players' money. And when you tread those lines, it just starts to feel like the NFL G League to me, or NFL Junior.
I think getting paid was probably the right thing because the schools need a lot of money, but it's just, again, kind of like how it was brought up, there needs to be a commissioner and there needs to be some regulation, and that needs to happen.
I think what's the most offensive thing is that you can just have school alumni straight up just donate to athletes. So schools don't have to pay them, but their donors can.
I mean, Oregon literally has the Nike owner paying for everything.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I mean, you saw what Dave Portnoy did. He gave Bryce Underwood $10 million just to flip his commitment. Granted, he's probably going to hit the transfer portal because they haven't had a great start. They're starting to pick it up now, but Yeah, it's just little things like that. It just ruins it for me. Like, imagine
Yeah.
you're a small program and you're stoked. There's a 5-star homegrown kid coming in, quarterback, who's everyone said they're just going to change the direction of your college program, and out of nowhere, some jackass billionaire you've never heard of snatches him away for $11 million to come play for, like, yeah, Miami. I think that's stupid, and that should be illegal, but that's another discussion for another day.
Let's get into it. Finally, let's close it out. Who do you think is going to win the national championship?
Whew. You go first. I have to look at it for a second. I don't want to just.
I want to say Oregon. I want to say a team out west, but
I do
history
too.
just doesn't do it.
Last year, you might remember from start to finish, I was like, it's gonna be Oregon and Texas, and it was neither of those teams. So, oh man. I mean, I feel like you just gotta go with the most proven coach right now in Ryan Day. I'm just trying to think. I feel like all these teams have new quarterbacks. You know, I would not. It wouldn't, like you kind of alluded to this earlier. It wouldn't shock me if Penn State made a turnaround. That was a very close game they lost. I'm not a big Drew Aller guy, but he is one of the better quarterbacks in college football, I would assume, as of right now. Honestly, you could, if Alabama keeps playing it the way they do, Ty Simpson looked really good against Georgia, in my opinion.
He did.
I mean,
But-
Miami could make a run. They've got an experienced guy in Carson Beck.
Let me say this. I got for the Ty Simpson game. UGA's defensive line is horrible when it comes to getting to the
Yeah, it's because they're all on the Eagles now.
facts.
Yeah. You know what Philadelphians nicknamed that game?
What game?
The Georgia-Bama.
What they nickname it? The Eagle Bowl.
The Howie Roseman Bowl. That's
There you
that's the only college football game all year he watches.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's just gonna
They're
take
gonna
all
draft
those
no
players.
Georgia players.
Yeah, exactly. What'd you say?
They're gonna draft no Georgia players then.
Nah, maybe. We'll see.
Anything else you want to add on?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't want to count Kirby Smart out either. Georgia could make the national championship
They could.
game. I'm not as big as I just don't. What I've seen from Arch Manning, I've kind of bought out. And I also, like, they look good, but it's just so hard for me to say that Lane Kiffin is going to go to the national championship game. But
No, he's not.
yeah, but I don't know.